This portion of the CU podcast is sponsored by the Launchbox Games Database, an online database for managing your retro games collection. It's free and community moderated, so check it out at gamesdb.launchbox-app.com. Patnine, what's the best way to price games to sell so you're not giving them away or being a scumbag seller?
My general rule is if I'm selling personally, and I do this rarely, but I do it at conventions, is you have to find that sweet spot where it's not worth it for a scalper to buy your game to try to make money off of it. But other than that, if I'm selling games, I'm not looking to make a fortune off of them, because generally selling off your doubles and stuff you don't want, even if you sold them for full market price, is not going to net you enough money to sit there forever and try to get rid of them. So you kind of fire sale them, but you got to make sure that you're not giving them away so that a scalper will grab them. So I try to go anywhere, depending on the price of the game. It really does depend on the price of the game. From $5 to $15 lower than what the market value is.
Percent?
No. I mean $5 to $15 lower than what the market value is, depending on what. Sure, I just don't know the percentage.
I was gonna say, if a game is $10 on eBay, average sale price, what would you?
Probably $6, because a scalper is not going to bother picking up a $6 game to make $4 off of it.
Okay.
If a game is going for $60, I'll sell it for $50, because a scalper is probably not going to want to make $10 off of it.
But could make $20 if it's at $40.
Sure, right. So that's kind of how I look at it. Is you look at you always want to price it just so that it's not attractive to a scalper, and a scalper is not going to flip something for $10.
Well, this question doesn't really target whether or not you're at a flea market selling it, or a convention, or just selling it to a pal. I think there's different scenarios.
There certainly is. I'm going from my experience.
Like if you're selling to a friend, if you know who the person is, you know they're not going to just flip your stuff. If they're going to flip your stuff, they tell you, I don't have a problem. They say, yeah, I want to resell it. Then, okay, whatever. Sure, make that 5% margin on it, or 10% margin, or try to. But if it's a friend you trust, then sell whatever you wanted to. Sell it for the price you bought it at.
Yeah.
I used to do that.
Sure.
I sold the Die Hard. I had a spare Die Hard in NES. Sold it to a guy for $2. He ended up selling it eventually, but I couldn't control that. But I thought
at some point, I think the statute of limitations expires.
Okay, it should be more than a year.
Yes, it should definitely be more than a year.
Sure. If you're at a convention, you got to be careful. Some conventions are more careful than others about not liking the sellers to run around and buy stuff to basically to flip or scalp.
I seem to remember Portland being pretty good about that.
They're pretty good, but you can never totally avoid it. I had one seller in particular buy, I think I had 2 Mario Kart 64s like 3 or 4 years ago, and they bought both of them before other people had a chance. I was like, oh, I must have had those really cheap, because they ended up at their table. Exactly.
Well, that's the other thing you do have to be careful of, and therein lies the problem with actually what I just said is, if a game is valued at $70 market, and you decide you want to sell it for $55 or $60 because you think that's not good enough for a scalper to flip it, no one's stopping that scalper for selling it for $80 to $90 at a convention where you have a closed audience with money in their pockets who just want stuff.
They're taking the risk that they can sell it for that. They still might not, but it's different with convention, because convention also sellers try to have a monopoly on certain sort of games. Like if they know that, okay, there's 5 sellers have Smash Brothers at $60. But if we have 10 of them, we have more, we can sell it for more.
I want to become known as the guy at conventions who has the monopoly on Mahjong games.
On Mahjong games?
Yeah. One person might visit me every year.
Did I give you the Mahjong game past month? I thought someone gave one to give to you.
Yes.
Yeah, I did?
Yes.
I think I have it somewhere.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, we gotta find the Hong Kong Nintendo Mahjong game. That's our goal.
Yeah, that's my holy grail.
He is holy grail. I won't say where you can learn more about that game, but a certain NES guidebook has information on that game. That was one of the last things I made to that book that changed.